Chapter 10. Let me open this. Our vocab, we start 10-1, which is very simple. Choose the vocab word which matches this. All the options can only be used once. Very straightforward. 10-2, this is where we get a little bit more complicated. So no tengo mi propia casa y no sé dónde voy a vivir permanentemente. Por eso tengo que, I don't know where I'm going to live. Because of that, I have to, probably alquilar. I have to alquilar un apartamento, no? So alquilar is going to be left in the infinitive because tener que an infinitive. I have to rent an apartment, right? So es muy pequeño y tengo pocos. So we have alquilar is already gone. So it's very small and it has very few. Well, we're looking for something masculine and plural, so we're probably going to be looking at muebles, right? Etc., etc., and keep going like that. Actually, here I believe that you won't even, if the verbs are already conjugated for you, so you won't even have to conjugate the verbs when you're using the verbs. 10-3, this is one that I will manually grade. So you're just going to copy, paste, and list at least 2 chores associated with each of these rooms. Más vocabulario, this section of chapter 10, 10-5. So we're just matching up verbs with what they most likely go with. So pasar goes with la aspiradora, etc., etc. So only one thing goes with each. So, sorry. No, exactly. One thing goes with each. 10-4. ¿Qué partes de la casa o aparatos electrodomésticos son relevantes para estos quehaceres? Hervir pasta. So what would you need to boil pasta? Probably la estufa. You go through like that. Each question only has one option. And down here, this is, well, not really that complicated. So you can use both texts are exactly the same. And las batidoras son, and you'll be answering these questions based upon whatever the text says, right? This is all pretty straightforward. This is a complex question. Because here, first of all, our only options are tan como, tantos como, and tanto como. So we have to remember what is used with what. So if you don't know, I don't have a short video made yet for this, but I will. But please go back and use it for your book. Tan como is used for, tan como is used when you're comparing adjectives or adverbs. Tanto como for verbs. And tantos, etc., for when you're comparing nouns. This is very important. So let's dive into the first one. Armando, pues mis clases daban. So what are we comparing? We're comparing the amount of homework. So homework is an adjective, verb, or a noun. Homework is a noun. So right away we know we're going to be starting with that. To agree with tarea, we're going to be using tanta, tarea, y. It gives as much homework and as many quizzes, tantas como en las tuyas. And we already have the como here, right? Pero mis profesores no son, so what we're comparing is estricto, which is an adjective, right? So here we're going to be using tan and como. So we'll have tan and then como over in this space. And I've already done a good chunk of the question for you. So I'm not going to give you any more than that, but that should get you on your way. So first, look at what's being compared. Is it which category does it fall into? And that'll help you answer the question. Remember that it's this one here that you have to agree with the noun, where you're going to be changing it masculine, feminine, singular, plural. The rest of them don't change. Down here, question number 2. So here we're comparing 2 advertisements, and we could be using más, menos, tanto como, etc. So we're going to look at dormitorios. So this house has 4 dormitorios. This house has 3. So we know A has more than B. It's not a comparison equality, not a comparison of equality. It's a comparison of inequality. So we need más o menos. Tiene más dormitorios que, right? So we need to include the dormitorios in there. We have to include that or it's not complete. In English, it's like saying house A has more bedrooms than house B. Word for word, it's the exact same as English. Let's try number two. We have baños. So here we have two baños. Here we have 2.5 baños. So B has more baños. But casa A is set up first, right? So this is a more less kind of thing. So we know we have to use más menos. A is first. A has fewer bathrooms. Tiene menos baños. Oops, sorry. Oops, I don't know what I'm doing here. Menos baños que la casa B. So here, remember, you need all parts of it, and you need whatever is being compared. Critical. Down in question 3, this is something I'm going to be manually grading. Un profesor muy aburrido, no? So what you may say is, Doctor Bush es muy aburrido, right? And there you go. Or you could say, el profesor más aburrido es Doctor Bush, right? If you find me very boring. So either one of those is fine, but this is a manually graded question. It's kind of fun to read at the end of the semester to see what you really think of me and other people around. So that's it for that. 9-14. Here we get into our pretérito imperfecto questions. I'm not going to go through the difference between pretérito and imperfecto. If you're having problems with this, please refer to the book or go to this little review, which will give you the basics, right? But I will show you basically how to do this, and I didn't save this. That didn't work. So cuando yo, and I meant to put yo in there, which will be there by the time you do it, and you're going to conjugate dormir according to the yo in the preterite or the imperfect. I'm going to tell you that it's the imperfect, right? Cuando yo dormía. And this will be sonó el teléfono, because this is an interrupted action. So you want to look for the subject, conjugate accordingly, whether it's imperfect or preterite. Review the use of both if you're having problems figuring it out. Question 2. Same kind of question. So I'm going to give you the first one. Era una tarde muy bonita, because it's a description. And then etc., etc. Conjugate the verb in brackets in either the preterite or the imperfect based upon whatever it should be. Very straightforward. Oh, and that's it. We're done.